There's something rather funny about watching Europeans rediscover America in real time. These are people who grew up surrounded by castles, ancient cathedrals, stone squares, beautiful train stations, and centuries of cultural confidence. Many of them arrived in the United States believing it was a young, loud, rough, artificial country that was overrated. Then the World Cup threw them straight into American life. Not the America of the evening news, but the America of late-night diners, packed fan festivals, gigantic stadiums, immigrant families carrying 2 flags at once, strangers asking where they were from, and cities so vast they felt like countries of their own. And in this video, we'll explore what made people who once mocked America start filming it, debating it, and eventually admitting that the real America is far more fascinating than the image they once believed. Number 8. When America turns the streets into a festival. As millions of international fans poured into North America, they didn't come just to watch soccer. They didn't simply travel from the airport to the hotel, then from the hotel to the stadium. What truly surprised many people, especially European fans, began outside the pitch, on packed subway trains filled with jerseys, in noisy bars, across flag-filled public squares, beside smoking food trucks, and in local neighborhoods where Americans live, eat, talk, and celebrate in their own distinctive way. There were 13 FIFA fan festivals held across the host cities. At first glance, they sounded like nothing more than places to watch soccer on giant screens. But they weren't. These were places where American culture was brought directly onto the streets, without museums, without history lectures, without solemn plaques covered in the dust of time. All it took was an outdoor stage, a DJ firing up the crowd, dozens of food trucks lined up, flags from all over the world flying side by side, and thousands of strangers embracing each other after a goal. After the first round of matches, the fan festivals had already attracted nearly 2 million visitors. That number wasn't just about soccer, it reflected a massive cultural collision where local Americans stood beside fans from Mexico, England, France, Germany, and Brazil, where police officers, volunteers, families, tourists, and street vendors shared the same public space without anyone feeling like an outsider. Philadelphia was the clearest example. People once thought American culture there existed only in its historic landmarks, in the Liberty Bell, and in the old walls that tell the story of the nation's founding. But the city proved the opposite. American culture also lives in the lines of people waiting to buy cheesesteaks, in the sound of street music, in immigrant communities, and in the way an old city turns soccer into a lively, noisy festival filled with the smell of street food. Kansas City, on the other hand, was different. It didn't try to appear glamorous. The fan festival at the National WWI Museum and Memorial was regarded as one of the region's largest free summer festivals, combining soccer, live music, culture, community, and local food. People called it the front porch of Kansas City. Kansas City showed that American culture doesn't need to wear a suit. It doesn't need chandeliers or silent exhibition halls. Sometimes it's simply the smell of barbecue smoke drifting through the air, the sound of live guitar echoing through the crowd, strangers striking up conversations as if they'd known each other for years, and a city opening its doors as if saying to the whole world, "Step onto the front porch. The party has already begun." Number 7. The strangers who made America feel like home. If the fan festivals were where American culture stepped out onto the streets, then the people were what truly made international fans lower their guard. Before arriving in North America, many Europeans had already written a cold script in their minds. Chaotic airports, unfamiliar streets, tense police officers, busy locals, everyone minding their own business. But the first thing they encountered wasn't indifference. It was a smile, a hand pointing the way, and a very American question. Where are you from? Nearly 50,000 volunteers took part in helping operate the 2026 World Cup. And they weren't just there to look good in brightly coloured uniforms. They were everywhere. At airports, train stations, fan festivals, tourist attractions, stadiums, and crowded transit hubs. They were the host city ambassadors, the living bridge between the host cities and the millions of international fans experiencing the real America for the first time, not the America they had seen in movies. Their role sounded simple enough. Give directions, provide information, assist visitors. But during a World Cup, a timely set of directions can save an entire chaotic day. A friendly greeting can turn the feeling of being lost into the feeling of being welcomed. A volunteer standing patiently on a street corner explaining the train lines, the best places to eat near the stadium, or the entrance to the fan zone suddenly becomes the first face a visitor remembers about America. Philadelphia alone selected and trained about 3,000 volunteers from roughly 26,000 applicants. That number says something remarkable. Americans didn't just want to watch the World Cup, they wanted to take part in shaping how the world saw their city. Philadelphia didn't just offer cheesesteaks, revolutionary history, or its historic streets. It offered its people willing to stand among crowds of fans from South America, Europe, and Africa and say, "Just ask, we're here to help." The same thing happened in New York, Boston, Seattle, and Atlanta. New York, a city long labeled as cold, busy, and unfriendly, surprised international fans because locals were willing to stop and give directions. Boston left a strong impression on Scottish fans. Seattle turned the atmosphere created by fans into part of the city's everyday rhythm. Atlanta embodied the South. Southern hospitality, Waffle House, wide smiles, and the feeling that a stranger could become a friend.
I'm a Brit in America and I'm going to try Waffle House for the first time.
He has no idea what he's in for, but he just got off the plane and I told him he's got to try Waffle House. Let's go.
It's good, it's 4 a.m. I'm going to try Waffle House for the first time. Yeah, I'm going to do another video when I've got my food and we're going to taste test it. Let's go. Yeah, I got the waffle, got some syrup and some butter on it. I'm gonna give it a little taste. Let me have a look. Smack.
And after a late night meal. In many European cities, being polite means keeping your distance. But in America, a stranger might notice your jersey, ask where you're from, tell you the best place to eat near the stadium, and 10 minutes later be raising a glass with you as if you'd grown up in the same neighborhood. And perhaps that was the real surprise. Not that America was perfect, but that in the middle of a tournament of enormous scale, surrounded by people from every corner of the planet, America still knew how to make a stranger feel like they had been welcomed home. Number 6. The food that broke Europe's sense of restraint. And then came the next surprise, not from a shot on the pitch, but from what was sitting right in front of international fans. A tray of American food. For many Europeans, eating is often associated with refinement and moderation. A reasonably sized drink, a well-portioned plate, modest servings, smaller refrigerators, and the habit of shopping for groceries more frequently. In America, that philosophy gets thrown onto a giant barbecue grill. They were met with giant drinks, giant burgers, giant pizza slices, and giant barbecue platters. They saw breakfast plates piled with eggs, bacon, hash browns, and pancakes, looking more like a meal for an entire soccer team than for a traveler who had just woken up. Every combo came with fries, a drink, sauce, and a side. If they couldn't finish it, the restaurant would casually box up the leftovers to take home. In many places, leftover food can feel awkward. In America, it's simply a complimentary second meal. During the World Cup, many international fans turned eating into a cultural adventure. Texas Barbecue, Waffle House, Taco Bell, Chipotle, Buffalo Wild Wings, these everyday American names suddenly became must-visit destinations. One German fan documented his journey through Taco Bell, Chipotle, Waffle House, and Buffalo Wild Wings. His Buffalo Wild Wings meal on World Cup opening day alone received more than 2.7 million views. Not because it was fancy, but because it was so unmistakably American. Waffle House became one of the strongest symbols. There were no white tablecloths or elegant lighting. It was warm yellow lights late at night, road trips, diner culture, and a hot plate of food arriving when the city was almost asleep. To European fans, that felt unusual, inexpensive, comforting, open late, and filled with a sense of community. Barbecue, meanwhile, was almost a visual weapon. Smoke, meat, sauce, side dishes, and massive platters.
I ask a medium size. That's medium. Ma che medium? Madonna! My entire family can drink from here for 1 month.
I ordered one pancake. That's one pancake. This is Montante?
Yeah, welcome to America. You know, I used to be little like you.
This is probably the best store I've ever been to.
Look at these. These are nice. They're nice.
Good price.
Wow. Yep. That is the size of ice cream you can buy. You don't need that much ice cream.
This is crazy. Look at this.
Seem to reinforce every stereotype that Americans eat too much, too heavily, and too crudely. Yet somehow that very sense of too much became a feeling of generosity, and the smallest surprise turned out to be the one that spread the fastest. Free refills. Buying one drink and having it refilled again and again wasn't just about the beverage. It conveyed a simple feeling. You've paid once, so make yourself comfortable. One Japanese visitor was even stunned when a Mexican restaurant in America brought out complimentary chips and salsa before he had even ordered. The food arrived before the transaction, and perhaps that is America at the dinner table. Fast, plentiful, hot, generous, and unforgettable. Number 5. The infrastructure built to swallow a World Cup. If the food left international fans amazed by its generosity, then the infrastructure was what made them see America in a different light. The United States did not organize the 2026 World Cup in the traditional European urban style, where everything revolves around an old town square, a train station, and narrow streets. America staged the World Cup with mega event infrastructure. Vishal NFL stadiums, major airports, highways, parking lots, shuttles, metro systems, buses, volunteers, signage, and crowd management designed to absorb tens of thousands of people at once. This is the largest World Cup in history, with 48 teams, 104 matches, and 16 host cities. The United States alone has 11 host cities and will stage most of the major knockout matches. That turned the tournament into a public test of America's ability to organize an event of this scale. Ironically, the country often criticized for depending on cars emerged with a massive event management machine. In the United States, many World Cup venues are NFL stadiums, built from the ground up to handle massive crowds, tens of thousands of seats, giant video boards, extensive concession areas, multiple entrances, multiple layers of security, vast parking lots, tailgate areas, pre-game gathering spaces, barriers, gates, entry zones, shuttles, and signage separating pedestrian flows like an industrial assembly line. With capacities ranging from about 64,000 to 80,000 seats, these are no longer just soccer stadiums. They are more like temporary cities built to manage emotion, noise, and traffic. But the biggest reversal of expectations came in Los Angeles. The city has long been seen as the symbol of car culture. Yet during the World Cup, Union Station became a major hub for fans. People took buses and trains to reach the stadium in Inglewood. Special shuttle buses ran directly to the venue. Ambassadors helped fans overwhelmed by the sea of people. There were hydration centers, calming pods, and metro round-trip fares of about $3.50. More than 20,000 people used buses for each match. Some matches recorded more than 52,000 people using public transit. Fans from Colombia, Germany, Ecuador, and many other countries stood together within the same transportation system. That moment carried real significance. America did not try to imitate Europe. Instead, it relied on scale, technology, organization, and its ability to manage mega events to prove that even chaos can be orchestrated. Number 4. A country so big it feels like a continent. There was one shock that European fans could never fully understand from a map alone. They had to fly across it, spend hours on the road, watch the highways stretch endlessly ahead, and only then realize America is not like an ordinary country. It feels more like a continent that happens to call itself a nation. In Europe, distance is something that can be negotiated. From London to Paris, from Brussels to Amsterdam, from Munich to Vienna, it's often just a few hours by train and a small suitcase. Borders are so close that people can have breakfast in one country and dinner in another. But the 2026 World Cup confronted fans with a different reality. In America, changing cities can mean changing time zones, climates, accents, food, and even cultural atmosphere. Someone might watch a match in New York/New Jersey and then assume they could simply drop by Dallas, Los Angeles, Miami, or Seattle the way Europeans visit neighboring countries. Then they open a map. Suddenly, the trip is no longer a relaxing train ride. It's a long flight, a massive airport, highways, shuttles, hotels, and an entirely different city waiting on the other side. But the biggest surprise isn't the country's size on paper. It's found in ordinary things. A stadium parking lot can be as large as a small neighborhood. A gas station can feel like a supermarket. A Walmart or Costco makes international fans feel as though they've walked into a logistics warehouse. A drink, a meal, a highway, an airport, a suburban neighborhood. Everything seems to say that in America, everyday life is designed with the assumption that space is still abundant. Imagine a European fan standing in the middle of a parking lot, looking at hundreds of cars, then walking into a store so enormous that they can buy food. A team jersey, headache medicine, bottled water, barbecue supplies, and a suitcase all in the same place. That isn't just shopping, it's a visual lesson in the scale of America. The World Cup made this clearer than ever. America doesn't have a single center. New York/New Jersey is global finance. Los Angeles is entertainment and immigration. Miami is Latin America within the United States. Dallas and Houston represent the vastness of Texas. Atlanta is the modern South. Seattle is technology. Kansas City is the American Midwest. Fans weren't just watching soccer, they were traveling through many different Americas under the same flag. Number 3, the outdoor life hidden behind America's concrete image. Many European fans arrived in America with a picture already fixed in their minds. Endless highways, identical suburbs, gigantic malls, fast food, parking lots, guns, obesity, and sprawling cities with little soul. In that imagination, America was a country covered in concrete, where people lived between their cars and their jobs, drive to work in the morning, return to the suburbs at night, spend the weekend at the mall. But the 2026 World Cup created a different kind of collision. International fans came for soccer, yet after a few days they realized that America doesn't live only inside its stadiums. It lives outdoors, in parks, on beaches, by lakes, in backyards, along trails, at campgrounds, tailgates, porches, rooftops, farmers markets, and summer festivals spilling into the streets. The surprise wasn't just the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone, the famous natural landmarks everyone already knows. The real surprise was that even around the host cities, there exists a distinctly American outdoor lifestyle. Seattle has water, mountains, forests, and ferries. Los Angeles has beaches, mountains, canyons, and deserts within easy reach. Miami has tropical beaches, the Everglades, and life centered around the water. The Bay Area has its bay, bridges, hills, forests, and the Pacific coast. Atlanta has trees, parks, and the Beltline. Philadelphia, Boston, and New York/New Jersey have parks, rivers, waterfronts, and walkable public spaces in the summer. And this is where it becomes especially interesting. Nature in America isn't always placed inside a picture frame to be admired. It is used in a very practical, very everyday, very American way. A family opens a cooler in the park. A group of friends grills in the backyard. Fans sit on folding chairs outside the stadium. Children play soccer on the grass. Elderly people walk around the lake. Young adults drive their pickups to a campsite for the weekend. In Europe, outdoor beauty is often associated with historic squares, pedestrian streets, small cafes, and centuries-old architecture. In America, that beauty might be barbecue smoke rising from a backyard, live music outdoors, an RV parked beside a lake, a tailgate before the match, or a family watching fireworks from a grassy field. America is not only big in size, it is big in breathing room. When international fans realized that Americans could eat, jog, kayak, fish, camp, watch sports, drink beer, and celebrate birthdays in wide open spaces, their stereotype of a soulless America began to crack. Behind the concrete and the highways, it turned out, America still had its sky. Number 2. The digital machine that made chaos usable. If infrastructure was the skeleton that allowed America to operate the World Cup, then technology was the nervous system running beneath it. Before arriving in the United States, many European fans had probably already prepared themselves for one frustration. Everything here revolves around apps, data, and smartphones. Without a phone, getting into the stadium is difficult. Without a card, buying things is difficult. If you're not familiar with digital tickets, it can be confusing. If you're not used to digital maps, QR codes, mobile wallets, rideshare apps, and real-time updates, it's easy to feel as though you've been thrown into a cold machine. But the 2026 World Cup turned that stereotype upside down. When tens of thousands of people poured into the same stadium, searched for the right gate, bought food, booked rides, and adjusted their schedules all at once, the very thing that had been criticized as an over-reliance on smartphones became the reason everything moved more smoothly. Fans might not love the feeling of having their lives squeezed into a small screen, but they had to admit that at an event of this scale, digital tickets, maps, cashless payments, and real-time notifications made chaos manageable. America's strength is not just creating technology in laboratories. Its strength is turning technology into everyday behavior. Americans use apps to book rides, buy tickets, order food, make payments, find directions, check into hotels, enter stadiums, buy merchandise, view maps, receive alerts, and share experiences. For international fans, that experience can feel a little overwhelming. But it also creates a distinctly plugged-in America where nearly every action from morning until night is connected to a digital ecosystem. The 2026 FIFA World Cup made this even more apparent. The official mobile ticketing system allows fans to download tickets to their phones, store them on their smartphones, transfer them to others by email, and use digital tickets to enter matches. A free fan ID has also been introduced as an additional digital experience for ticket holders across all 104 matches. It is not a visa, nor does it replace a match ticket, but it demonstrates how a global event is being transformed into an app-driven experience down to the smallest step. For many Europeans, this is both convenient and a little unsettling, as though they are being pushed into a digital system. Yet that is also the American paradox. Technology can make people feel exhausted, but when the crowd reaches tens of thousands of people, that same technology makes a vast country much easier to navigate. Number 1. The divided nation that suddenly felt like one community. Many European fans arrived in America with a preconception. This was a country divided by race, immigration, politics, and class. They saw the United States through the lens of culture wars, border issues, political polarization, crime, and inequality. As a result, it was easy to believe that this was a place where many communities lived side by side, but never truly belonged to one another. Then the 2026 World Cup revealed a different picture. America may be messy, noisy, and full of contradictions, but that very diversity creates a unique kind of community. A European fan walks through Miami and sees Colombian Americans, Cuban Americans, Argentine Americans, Venezuelan Americans, and Mexican Americans turning the streets into a Latin celebration. In Houston, they see Vietnamese Americans, Mexican Americans, Nigerian Americans, Indian Americans, Brazilian Americans, and Japanese Americans living together in the same Texas city. In Los Angeles, they see people wearing Mexico, South Korea, United States, Colombia, and Germany jerseys riding the same train, eating at the same food trucks, and cheering beneath the same sky. The surprise isn't that America is diverse. Everyone already knows that. The real surprise is that this diversity doesn't remain trapped in statistics. It lives on the streets, it stands in line to buy tacos, it sings national anthems in the fan zones, it wears the national team jersey of a parent's homeland, then goes home to an American neighborhood, works at an American company, sends children to American schools, and still sees itself as part of the city. The World Cup made that layer of community more visible because soccer awakens the heritage of immigrant families. A Mexican American may cheer for Mexico, a Japanese American may wear Japan's jersey, a Ghanaian American may carry Ghana's flag. But they are not visitors passing through America. They are Americans expressing both parts of their identity, their family's roots, and their present-day lives. For many Europeans, that was a powerful realization. In many countries, the question of who truly belongs here remains sensitive. But in America, despite its many contradictions, community can be more flexible. A person can be Colombian American, Vietnamese American, Korean American, or Nigerian American, while also being a resident of Miami, Houston, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, or Atlanta. The American sense of a community is not built on everyone being the same. It is built on the ability of very different people to share the same city, the same streets, the same giant screen, and the same festival, without having to put aside the flag they carry in their hearts. So maybe the real surprise is not that Europeans are falling in love with America again. Maybe the real surprise is that Americans forgot what the rest of the world can still see. The culture, the food, the scale, the kindness, the technology, the wild landscapes, and the strange ability to turn strangers into temporary neighbors. None of it is perfect, but all of it feels alive. Europeans came expecting the country they had mocked from a distance. Instead, They found a place too big, too loud, too divided, too generous, and too magnetic to ignore. And now the question is simple. Did America change, or are people finally seeing it again?